Welcome to the Sovereign Society podcast, a sacred lifestyle sanctuary empowering you to honor the journey, trust the process, and radiate your radness. I'm your host, Sabrina Riccio, soulful business mentor, Kundalini yoga teacher, and modern medicine priestess who's on a mission to anchor heaven on earth in this golden era. Join me every week as I'll be sharing with you real talk conversations with some of my favorite sacred disruptors, modern mystics, and soulpreneurs. We are a collective of conscious creators who understand that life is happening for us, not to us. As our contribution to the evolution of humanity, we are honored to share with you all things social justice, personal empowerment, and what it takes for you to activate your legacy. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the Sovereign Society podcast. Prepare yourself because the journey to reclaim your power awaits. Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Sovereign Society podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Riccio, and something's happening over here. I have been away for about 5 weeks now, and I did some deep work. I answered the call. I've been focusing on my clients and Thrive, and I've been watching so many articles and news reports about what's going on politically. So I have been an activist since I was in the 5th grade. So 10 years old. And it's something that has sparked me my entire life, is to educate and to make a difference in the world, because that's why we're all here, right? So my first advocacy started in the 5th grade in my DARE class, where we were talking about cannabis and marijuana and how bad marijuana is, right? All that kind of fear-mongering propaganda shit. And I remember I asked Officer Pete, I said, why is smoking cannabis bad if Susan Sarandon and StepMoms is smoking it and it's helping her feel better with her cancer? And he couldn't respond. That moment, something sparked within me questioning authority. Let's do this. And I've always been one like that. I feel like as a sacred rebel, I love to stir up the status quo and, really shake shit up and ask questions and challenge people. And I think that was another reason why I needed a break from social media, is just because there's so many people in the industry right now that I feel aren't really walking the talk. So, for me, it's really important to be in my integrity and to be in my truth and share what I'm feeling and, all the things. And that's just kind of my choice. And so a part of me really honoring and accepting myself is to honor that part of myself that is very passionate about politics. And so I was watching the Democratic debates, and I feel as though Marianne Williamson fucking crushed it. She did so well. Her angle was completely different than everyone else. Kamala Harris was also really great, crushing Joe Biden. And Bernie, everyone's talking about Bernie's policies that he's been fighting for 40 years. So to me, I feel those were the winners, hands down, of the second debate and of the first debate. Blasio, he came out of nowhere, had no idea who he was, and he really stuck out. Elizabeth Warren, she did great. She came really ready to fight. I've been having some issues with Elizabeth Warren. Like, my personal top threes are, in no particular order because they're still unfolding: Bernie Sanders, Marianne Williamson, Tulsi Gabbard, hands down. So I've been spending a lot of my time on the social media sabbatical, really diving into YouTube and learning more from independent media about what's going on, because the mainstream media has an agenda and they have all these corporate sponsors and things like that. So the moderators and things like that, they're there, but there can be better ways of questioning and things like that. So I like to get my news from different sources. But I've been really educating myself about what's happening on a global level and domestically. just because this is what, to me, what leadership feels like, is really knowing what's going on in the world and being educated and to really share. So watching the debates and, watching Marianne Williamson come through, and a lot of people don't understand where she's coming from, especially like the ladies from The View and things like that. I feel as though where she's coming from and what about how, Donald Trump has gone into the psyche of the American people by instilling fear. And the opposite of fear is love, right? Like all fear is the absence of love. And I understand a lot of where Marianne Williamson is coming from too, because for a while I was really committed to A Course in Miracles. Like that book really helped me get out of my funk. Problem with that was like I was in these loops. And so it was time for me to really run with what resonated and release the rest, kind of thing. So, essentially Marianne Williamson was the first spiritual teacher that I really, other than Deepak Chopra and Marianne Williamson, but meeting Marianne Williamson at the end of 2012, where I knew like I was coming back home to really heal myself. She told me that I was going to be fine. And I really credit a lot of my journey to her teachings and her light and how God has worked through her to be the conduit of this message, and to see how it's hitting people, and to see how it is a very strong message, and it's coming through with more than just plans, which was really interesting because all the mainstream media is attacking her for like not liking plans. She's talking about a deeper thing here, and most Americans are not at that level yet, of really understanding. It's the ones that have been doing the spiritual work for a long time that can really do the deep dive. Like most of this country lives as like I call the basic bitch level, and there's only a handful of people that can understand the depth of what's happening, and you can't discover that depth if you haven't done the depth within yourself first. You have to do that inner work first to understand what's happening when it's mirrored in the outside world of what's going on, and being able to have that level of awareness. A lot of correspondence or news anchors or whatever, and a lot of Americans, they don't have that yet. But when you talk to the heart, there's a stronger pull and a stronger force that's happening. So right now I am just in a massive wave of inspiration to be also sharing more about politics, because during the midterm election, there was a lot of people in the industry who have influence that were just telling people to vote for this person because they're a woman without really looking at the policies. And that gives away your power. Like you have such great force as an American to implement change by speaking up, by voting, by how you spend your money. And we need to start educating people on how they can reclaim their power back. And that's something that I'm so passionate about. Because it's the work that, that we do as spiritual teachers. We are helping people reclaim their power, right? Over the traumas, over the pain, over the sorrow, over those limiting beliefs. We are helping people reclaim their power. So we need to understand that we have the power to reclaim our power by taking conscious action, and really understand like that it's all energy and where we put our energy to. And when we do it with passion and with authenticity and pureness, that anything is possible, right? Like we're doing it in the name of God with the intention of love. So these are things that I've just been really thinking about. Like I've been so waiting for the debates to come through, because like I said, I went to Marianne's. You can check, I think it's episode 68, where I went to her presidential nomination announcement, and I went with my dear friend Nixie Marie from the I Am Goddess collective podcast. So we went there, and I knew something was going on. In 2016, I volunteered for Bernie. And when he spoke at the rally in my local town, and I also saw him speak, like those two are for sure my front runners. And having Tulsi Gabbard like talking about, the cost of war as a soldier, I really respect her. as well. So I'm really excited to be sharing with you all more of the insights about what's going on politically. I just feel as though there aren't enough spiritual teachers out there that are educating about these topics, and this is a really important time right now. So I do feel as though this is going to be something I'm sharing more of, just to educate and speak up, and how we can start to really implement great change, not just in this country, but on this planet. And I really encourage you to start doing some research. Don't just like jump on the wagon because everyone else is doing it. Like, take the time to like stay true to your values and what you believe in. So I'm really excited to see how this is going down. I'm going to be sharing political insights on Twitter at Sabrina Riccio. And I'm going to continue to be building up my YouTube channel, which I'm really excited about. A new medium. I've been working with Instagram for 10 years, since when Instagram first came out. I have my degree in marketing, so I've been learning about and studying about social media and all these things for quite some time now, 15 years. And I'm really looking forward to see how things are going to unfold in this massive wave of inspiration that's coming through. And just remember to allow your heart to take the lead. And I'm really looking forward to see how this continues to unfold. And I encourage you again to get involved, start educating yourself, start having conversations, because we are the ones we've been waiting for. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Satnam.